Okay, students, so we're going to go to the next allusion, which is the Bible. So we know that there was an allusion to the Bible because the title of the story is By the Waters of Babylon. Well, you read and annotated Psalm 137, which is about the rivers of Babylon. So he is alluding to or making reference to Psalm 137. Psalm 137, I'm going to get into the meaning of that in just a second, but I want to give you some interesting little tidbits about it. The medallions in the kind of like a Jamaican band covered the Psalm 137, made it more popular. And then the band Sublime from the 1990s, which is one of my favorite bands of all time, they covered that song. So if you want to listen to it, it's an awesome song. But just a little fun fact that it was from Psalm 137. So this piece was written by a psalmist, that was the person who wrote music, when the people of Israel spent time in Babylon, and that is now a modern city in Iraq, after the conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BC. Okay, it expresses the longing by the people of Israel to return to their homes in the Promised Land and their temple of Jerusalem. So I have a map here for you. This is what it looked like during that time. And then here is the river of Babylon and them being separated. Okay. There are a couple of interesting things that are going on here. So the people are being forced to sing or pretend that they are happy when they are captured and they are no longer home. And then it has a very dark turn where they talk about in stanza 9, he who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. Well, if you read that line, it's probably really jarring. Like, why did they say that? Are they literally, the Jewish people, are they literally going to take babies and then smash them against rocks? Probably not. That probably meant infants would be the next generation. So the next generation, we are going to get revenge on you. So why would Vincent Benet write this and use Psalm 137? Is he giving us a hint that it's like something is going to happen to us if we do not have war, which this is about a war and people were exiled or taken away from their hometown? Is it telling us that it's going to have ripple effects for generations to come? Maybe. Let's get into the next illusion, which is New York. So this is New York during the time of the story in the 1930s. Some of you might have been to New York. I've never been to New York, which makes me sad. But basically, I'm going to prove to you how this is an allusion to New York. So John walks down what they think, or he crosses some mountains, which we think are the Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains are these right here. So we think he's starting somewhere down here and he's traveling down. Okay, he's like kind of going like this. All right. Then he goes to a place called the Odussin. Well, if you say that Odussin and it's like hundreds of years afterwards, that could be the Hudson River. The Hudson River is right over here. So notice he's gone down and now he's at the Hudson River. If you keep going down, you're in New York. Okay. John looks over the river and sees a series of great cliffs. Those might be in New Jersey. So that's down here. So he's gone down all the way over here. He's almost in New York. Then he comes across remains of a statue with the word ashing on it. So scholars believe that that statue is the statue of George Washington in New York. So if there were incendiary bombs and the town of New York or the city of New York was bombed and there were only like remains left and the George Washington statue was bombed or like in rubble, maybe only the words ashing would show. Okay. The next one that they believe has to do with that is the sub-treasury building on Wall Street. John finds a ruined building called Ubitris. So if you take out the words from sub-treasury and you just have Ubitris left, so that could be left over from a bomb. He also sees stars on the ceiling and tunnels. So that could be in the Grand Central Terminal in New York. And in the Grand Central Terminal in New York, especially in the 1930s, where it was very, very beautiful, I'm sure, they have all over the walls right here, and you can see it right here on the ceiling, are stars, other constellations. After running from dogs, John says he goes to a place called the Biltmore. This is the Biltmore Hotel.